Hello everyone and welcome back to the Little Quilter. Today we're going to be starting work on the Sparrow Quilt here behind me. I've been working on the border, which I didn't actually design when I went through and designed this quilt and realized it. Had to take a moment and kind of think about what I was going to do. Decided to do something that was kind of going to mimic the background itself, which are these horizontal lines going back and forth, almost like a weave design in a little bit of a closer knit pattern than what I'm doing on the actual background of the quilt. So I'm going to jump back and show you guys that. Obviously I've had a little bit of a cold, and so whenever I was quilting these, my voice was really bad, and so it's a little bit better now and easier to talk with you guys. But I'm going to jump in. My plan is to finish the background and then I'm going to come back and do the birds. Again, I'm using this dark navy glide thread, and it is working really nicely. It blends in very well with the background. It also blends very well with the quilt backing too. So far, very happy with this. We're going to keep going and see if we can get this background done. All right, everybody, we are so getting close. So you can even see, I can see daylight because I can see my bar right here, which tells me that this is the last row and I will have completed the background. And I was just completing that background today, or at least finishing. I haven't been quilting as much lately because we've been doing a lot of housework projects, as I've probably said before, and so a lot of my time has been split between that. But now that I am back in quilting mode for at least the moment, I was working on trying to get the background done. Now, I did not finish it tonight, but I had a thought, and so hold on, let me show you. So the reason that I've had to do all this starting and stopping is because I've been working in this direction. And so I can only move, from here to here. So I have to stop, move my quilt up, and then I can come back and finish this line. But in the meantime, so I come over here, I have completed this section here. But if you go over here, it's partially completed. And so I actually filled this in, came back up and did a line. Let me move the machine over. And so over here is where I stopped. And so I have got to run a line down here, come back up. And so sometimes there just ends up being a lot of overlap with this pattern style that I'm doing in order to get those lines to move across the quilt like I want them to. So the thought that I actually had with this quilt was that I should have loaded it horizontally so that the birds are facing this way, right? So they're going, from the back of the room forward rather than this way. I feel like that was really extensive, but if you understand what I mean, I should have loaded it horizontally. And the reason for that would have been, instead of working in this space, I could have worked across the entire table for this design pattern. And that would have been really, really smart. Now, I then would have had the question at the end of it to probably have to take the quilt off of the machine and situate it so that it's going forward and backward like this, because I do think doing the birds, so quilting those birds, is going to be way easier if I do this with it facing me rather than trying to quilt things sideways. Now, not that it can't be done, I definitely think it could, but I just think from the standpoint for me, it would be a lot easier if it was in this direction, which is likely why I never even considered changing the direction of the quilt when I loaded this. But had I been thinking of the background, probably would have been better to do it that way. So just remember, when you are loading your quilts, to think about, what am I quilting, why am I quilting it, how am I going to quilt it, and that might help with making things easier, because although I am nearing the end of this, and it's not taking a dramatically long time, it's more just the lack of quilting time that I have that's making it take longer, it is a lot more stopping and starting because I am limited with the movement of going this way and then being able to jump to the next section without breaking thread. So that's just not really possible with this design, right? So just a thought, but I'm going to go ahead and try and finish this at another point, and then hopefully the next video we're going to be able to go ahead and start working on the birds. But I have to do this last little bit, and I have to take down some more wallpaper, so we're just trying to get a lot of things done. We're multitasking around here. It's going to be great. So, as always, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you guys again, and have a wonderful day. Thanks.